Hi guys, it's Miss Fisher. I am at home with all of my plants. They are starting to take over. I have all of my plants. Some by the fireplace. I won't be lighting a fire anytime soon, not until I put my plants somewhere else and find a new home for them. All right, guys, let me share my screen and we will start today's slide. So if you need to open up, get the response sheet for the online learners. I just looked and I didn't know this, but this is also on your on page 47. So if you open up page 47, be using that page today. My class, the substitute, already printed out the paper for you. Plus, you'll be turning it back into her. All right, my friends, play from the start today is lesson 13. Sun, moon, and stars. So let's read the poem if you can, follow along. The sun shines over us all. I see it sparkle like a ball. The moon lights up the night sky. I see it glimmer bright and high. Stars make patterns in the night. I see them twinkle faint and bright. The sun, the moon, and the stars, I see them all from afar. Whenever I look into the sky, I see them, they're way up high. So take a look at the underlined parts of the sentence. The sun shines, I see. The moon lights, I see. Stars make, I see. I see, I look, and I see. So you can see that in these sentences, that is the subject and the verb. So what is doing what? The sun, who? Does what? Shines. Who? I. What do? I see. I see it sparkle like a ball. So we've been working with past tense, present tense, and future tense. So here's our anchor chart that we've been working with. So we have past tense in the left-hand column, present tense in the middle column, and future tense in the right-hand column. So if we look back at the poem, a few of these words we replaced, and rather than saying them present tense, we can say them either past tense or future tense. So shines is the present tense. See, lights, make, and see. So let's take a look at shines. So if it shines today, yesterday, we could either add an ed, shined. Most of the time we just add ed to make a word past tense. Or this word's a little funny. It can actually be changed into shown. So shines to shined. If we do it tomorrow, it will shine. Do you see how there's a will? So let me take my highlighter, shines. Everybody say shines. Say the past tense. Add what to the end of it? Ed. So say shine. And future tense, what are we going to add? Will shine. Awesome. Let's take a look at the next word. Say see. This one is tricky. We don't say seed. I seed that with my eyes. We actually change the word to saw. The whole word is going to change. From see, if we did it yesterday, we saw. And if we do it tomorrow, we do what? Will see. Ever say lights? That is present tense, lights. Let's add an ed to the end of lights. So say lights, add ed to the end. Oh, say actually, cross off that S. It's funny that the poem says lights, but in this column, we're actually going to just take a look at the word light. So if we did it yesterday, it would be lighted. Or it's kind of funny, it can be kind of like that first word. Instead of shown, we can say it's lit. So everybody say lights. That's happening right now. The sun, the stars, the star lights, the sun lights. In the poem, says the moon lights. And then if it was past tense, it's ed, lighted. And if it's in the future, what will it be? Will light. All right, let's go to the next word. Say make. This one's tricky. We don't say made it, make ed. We changed it to made for past tense. And if it's future tense, it is will make. I make a cake. I made a cake yesterday, and I will make a cake tomorrow. And we already went over see. So do we say see did? No, it would be saw. The whole word would be saw. And in the future, we will see though. Good job, guys. Pat yourself on the back. Say, I did a good job. All right, my friends, let's stand up. Let's do our stretching. So let's make sure you guys can see me. Get to a spot. If you are at your desks, push in your chair so that way you have room. Wally is going to be stretching with us. So is Shasta, my other pooch. All right, so hands down by your sides. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale everything out the mouth. So inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. One more deep breath in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Inhale the hands up high. Not together. Slightly apart. Toe heel your feet more than hip distance apart. So here are your hips. Your feet are going to be wider. This is our 5-pointed star. On the screen, it says something different, but in yoga, this is our 5-pointed star. Take a deep breath in, reach up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, toe heel those feet together. Clap your hands. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lean to the right side. Lift up your left leg. So you're going to be balancing. Hopefully you can see, and hopefully my pooch is not in the way. Shasta, what are you doing? Come here. Hi. I know, move so that way the kids can see. And then return back to center. Lean to the left. Pick up your right leg. Hopefully you can see. I think Wally's underneath that leg. Hold it here. Go back to center. Make a full moon. All right, we're going to try something a little bit different now. So hands down by our sides. We are going to do standing tree. Boys, I'm so sorry, but you're going to have to move because I need to demonstrate this. So with your right leg, remember, it is the hand that does not make the L. So the L is your left leg, but with your right leg, you're going to bring it to the inside. Take off my sock. You're going to bring it to the inside of your left thigh. So this is standing tree. Hi, Wally. This is standing tree. If your leg is a little bit more flexible, and you can always bring it on top of your left leg. Hold it here. We are going to be doing a crescent moon. So with our hands, we're going to bring them up high. With your leg that is bent, you're going to make your right elbow, bring it to your right hip. So whichever leg is bent, bring that elbow on the bent side to your hip. And then you're going to try to lean to that side, making a C, a letter C, kind of like a crescent moon. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Good job, guys. Shake it out if you need to. All right, let's try it on the other side. So with your left leg, the hand that makes an L, lift it on up. You can either do standing tree with your left sole of the foot to the inside of the right thigh, or if you're more flexible and this feels comfortable, you can bring it on top of that right thigh. So same thing here. Hands are going to come up. We're going to lean towards the side with our bent knee. With our left elbow, if you did it on the opposite side and you're on the wrong side, it's all right. As long as you do it to both sides, you're fine. With that left elbow or the elbow with the bent knee, bring it to your hip and then make the letter C on the opposite side. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Good job, guys. Shake it out. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sit back down. I'll introduce you to my lovely yoga partners. This is Wally and Sasha. Hi, boys. Hi. All right, my dears. Let's load our bow and arrows. All right, first learning target, top one. I'll say it, you say it. I can retell major events from why the sun and the moon live in the sky. Aim, fire. Remember, it is a bow and arrow. They're silent. That way, the target does not hear us. If we were hunting for deer, the deer would not hear us. Reload that bow and arrow. Take a look at the second learning target. I can describe the central message of why the sun and the moon live in the sky. Aim, fire. All right, so let's take a look at that first learning target. It's at the top of this page. I can retell major events from why the sun and the moon live in the sky. So what are the major events? Let's actually backtrack to yesterday. So yesterday, you guys told me the characters and the setting. So the characters, the sun, the moon, and the water. You can see that right there. Let me change my little pen so that way I can highlight. Ooh, we shall do it magenta. So this is magenta, and it's still on a highlighter, not a pen. There we go. So we have the sun, the moon, and the water. So those are our characters. The sun and the water are going to be the main characters. Moon, she was all right. She was sun's wife, but did she talk a whole bunch during the book? No. And the setting, where is the setting? We said it was at sun and moon's house, right? Majority of you guys, I looked at your response sheet and it said the sun's house. Could be the sun's house, but Moon does live there too. You can't forget about her. So what happened in the beginning of the book? And if you did not listen to the book or read the book before this video, please stop right now. Reread, re-listen to the book. So what happened though? What happened at the beginning? Sun asked Water to come to his house, right? Sun was like, please, please come to my house. I haven't seen you in forever. I go to your house, but why don't you ever come to my house? You know, when you have friends and you're like, man, I really want my friend to come over. What do? You have to ask them. You have to, hey, can you come over? Ask them. What happened in the middle? So if you take a look down at the middle on this anchor chart, I put Water came to Sun and Moon's house and brought all of his people and animals, right? So the beginning, Sun asked Water to come over to his house. What happened after that? What happened in between? What even happened before we got to the middle of the book? What did Water say? Think about it. Whisper in your hand. What did Water say? He said, yes, yes, I will. I'll come over, but I'm going to be bringing my people over, and there's a lot of them. So what happened in the middle of the book? Water came to Sun and Moon's house and brought all of his people and animals. They kept just trudging on in, walking on in. Oh, so now before we get to the end, what happened between the middle and the end? So what happened to get to the end of the story? You remember what happens when you put too many people? Think about a car. Think about how many seats your car holds. If you're at home, say it out loud. If you're at a table, turn and count first, count how many seats your parents can fit in the car. Tell your partners, tell your neighbors. So what happened? What if my car only fits 5 people? The driver, the passenger, and then the 3 in the back seat. What if I had all of you guys come over and I'm like, hey, I'll drive. Could I fit you all? No, not at all. My gosh, we'd be probably packed to the top of the roof. So what happened in the end? Water filled up the house until there was no more room. Sun and Moon were forced onto the roof and then up into the sky, right? They pushed up. It was kind of like that sky pusher pull story that we heard from Mrs. Garbizo. They had to go all the way up. They pushed them all the way up into the sky. And so now, what characters live in the sky? The sun and the moon. So what was the central message that we learned in why the sun and the moon live in the sky? And what was the author trying to tell in why the sun and the moon live in the sky? So let's think about it. What was the central message? And what was the author trying to tell us? So central message, what was this book telling us? Think about it. If you're at home, talk to someone around you. If you don't have anybody, you grab a stuffed animal. If you're in class, I want you to turn and talk to your table partners. Turn and talk. If you need to, pause this video. If not, we're going to go to the next slide. Just look at the picture. Don't even read the words. What happened? What was the central message of this story? Who went to go live in the sky? The sun and the moon. Sun and moon were forced into the sky because water overflowed their home, causing them to go all the way up onto the roof and then into the sky. So, what was the author trying to tell us in The Sun and the Moon Live in the Sky? What was that? Why did the author even write this book? He was like, I have a really cool idea and I think I'm just going to write it on paper. But what was the meaning behind it? There's always a meaning behind things. We learn that people create stories to try to explain things in nature. And so that's kind of how the stories Mrs. Garbizo came to tell us, especially the one about how the moon was made out of shale and all those rocks and seashells, right? All right, look at that learning target. Reload your bow and arrow. I can retell major events from why the sun and the moon live in the sky. Aim, fire. All right, my dears. So those of you in class, your paper is at your desk. You are going to be answering what happened in the middle, or in the beginning, what happened in the middle, and what happened at the end. For my online learners, I am pretty positive this is on page 47. You will see it. Parents, you might need to help find it for them, but it's going to look like this. Pause the video if you need to. Use the words and pictures to show what happened in the story. So we want to see some pictures. Miss Lane and I want to be seeing some pictures. We want to see your artwork. All right, my dears, before we get to that, let's act it out. Let's get up, let's move around, let's act it out. So we're going to act out each character, the sun, the moon, sun, moon, and water. So let's, if you're at your seats, you can stand up right now. If I stand up, then I will be out of screen. But let's act it out. So if you were sun, I want you to play sun, sun's role. What does he do in the beginning? Act it out, act it out. If you need to, pause the video. Now I'll act it out with you guys. Water, my friend, my dearest friend who I have not seen in such a long time, I would like you to come over. Now, let's act like water. So pause the video. Unpause it once you have acted it out. So now what would water say? Water would say, sun, bro, I really like you. You're really cool, but I have a lot of people now. My family has grown. It has expanded. I don't know if we're all going to fit. I don't know if we're all going to fit comfortably in your house. And I don't want to do that to you. And Moon, hosting us, having us over, and then us coming in and just kind of filling up the rooms. Oh, let's go back to Sun. What would Sun say? Oh, no, please, please come over. Moon and I, we want you to come over. How would Moon be acting? Did she have a lot of lines? Did she have a good, decent amount of lines to even act out? She'd just be like, she was in the background. She was agreeing. She was not disagreeing. She was like, yeah, I want water to come. Come on, water, come on. Throughout the book, you can even see a smile on her face. That's how we know body language. If she was like, yeah, come on in, I guess. Do you think she'd want someone to come in? No. So act it out. If you need to, pause the video, have a little bit more fun. When you are ready, though, you are going to be heading to this page, completing it, and then online learners, send a picture to me or your teacher, Miss Lane. And kids in the classroom, Please behave for the sub. And I would like you guys to complete this. Since we already have the sentence frame, you don't need to use the sentence frame. You don't have to rewrite the sentence frame. In the beginning, tell us what happened. In the middle, tell us what happened. And in the end, tell us what happened. We also want to see a picture.